All right, coming up here next in Business IT, we're going to do a little bit of work with this website called Adobe. Let me see if I can get this to work. Adobe Spark. What happened to my highlighter? There we go. Um, and so it's a website. You can do it on your Chromebook. It'll work on your Chromebook. And we're just going to make a collage today. And this is not so much about, you might say, oh gosh, a collage. We've made collages before. It's not so much about how do you make a collage as it is a little bit about how to use this website. And here's the thing. Once you know about this website, you could run into a lot of situations where a language arts teacher or a social studies teacher says, okay, we got this project we want to do, and you have to do this, this, and this, but you've got a lot of different ways you could do it. You can make this, you can make that, you can make this, you can make that, and you'll find that, excuse me, Adobe Spark really is kind of handy for making a lot of different things, and you could use it in a lot of situations. And so I'd like for you to know about the website. I'd like for you to know a little bit about how to use it, because as you go on down the road, you might be able to use this to help you create things and be productive and make some cool stuff. So we're going to take a look at it. So today, not a long list of requirements. I want you to make this collage. You have to have at least 4 images. You could have more. And I want you to work in some text that goes along with the theme of your collage, and do have a theme, okay? Um, there's some instruction here on the handout about getting started. There's some instruction here about building the collage, but it's really hard for me to write instructions that show you all of the possibilities. I've got some instructions here, but gosh, once you see it, I think it'll just watch this movie, and I think you'll see that there's a lot of things that you can explore, and it's not too hard to discover things. And so I don't have everything written down here. There's no way I can write down everything. There's some options that I'm going to show you here that you can play with, and I'm going to show you how to rename and save your work so that it can be turned in. Okay, all right. So let's get to Chrome. I'm in my browser. I have a new tab open. Here is, and I may even link this up on Google Classroom, but it's spark.adobe.com. That's where we're headed. Spark, let me get my cursor out of the way. Spark.adobe.com. When you get there, it's going to look like this. There it is. Way up in the top right hand side, we're just going to do sign in. Now, because you actually kind of automatically have an Adobe account with because you're in our school, you don't really have to sign up or anything like that. So you're just going to go over here to sign in, not sign up, sign in. All right, so on the top right hand side. So I'm going to click that, and we are going to continue with Google. You could say log in with school account and then do continue with Google, but it works just as well just to continue with Google, because that's how our Adobe accounts are all kind of hooked up. All right, so I'm going to click continue with Google, and here we are. We're in. All right, so for today, we're just going to do this. We're going to start with collage right here. There should be like some buttons here that are kind of get started buttons, and we're just going to do a collage. So I'm going to click that. When you click that button, you're going to come to a screen that says choose photos. And I would think that you would want to do a little bit more to find your own photos. So I'm going to skip it. Let's skip it. Down here there's a button for skip, so let's skip it. Next, on this screen it says select a size. You've got these categories like popular things, social posts that are all, mostly this is about dimensions, width and height. If you want to do something that's going to go on an Instagram story, there's a good size for it. If you want something that's going to go on Pinterest, that's a good size for it. A YouTube thumbnail, good size for that. Print, you could go to print. You could go to social profile. You could go to standard, and there's a whole bunch of stuff there. Or you could make it a custom width and height yourself. So there's all these different categories. I'm just going to go to print, and I might just, I kind of always use this, but I think I might just go to letter. And part of that being because if I decided I wanted to print this out on my printer at school, that would fit. I have a printer that will print that. So I'm just going to go to print, and I'm just going to go to letter. But you don't have to. You could do, maybe you want to go to popular, I don't know, or you could do square or whatever, poster, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm going to go print, go letter, and I'm going to hit next. All right, so here I am. I have a blank sheet in front of me, and over here, most of the things you're going to work with are way over here on the right hand side. You can add different elements, which we're going to get into in a minute: text, photos, icons, things like that. There are templates that you can work with, but I don't want you to just like turn a template in just the way it is. I want you to make your own thing. You can investigate all of this. I'm not going to use all of these things as I go through this demo, but I'm going to use some of them. All right, so here's how I'm going to start. I'm going to go to background, and I'm going to scroll this a bit, because when I see this grid thing, remember you have to have at least 4 pictures. Okay, so sorry, kind of got a little cough going on. So I'm going to look through here at these different grids and think, well, gosh, do I see anything that I'm kind of happy with? Do I see anything I like? Right? Just kind of looking through that, and you can put some text in any of these boxes, or you can put pictures in these boxes. So you can kind of look through here and say, well, okay, do any of these strike my fancy? Do any of these suit me? I might do like this one right here. This looks pretty good. Boom. Okay, now when you first pop it on there, it's probably going to get filled. All these different like cells get filled with colors, right? Okay, all right, that's fine. And you can, like, if I click on this white one, I think I don't want white. Boom, I could change that. I don't want white. I want orange up there. I want another yellow box, or you could look. You can pick a custom thing, and I'll show you more here. Let me show you more about color. If I go over here on the side to color, these are all color schemes, like sets of color that you could pick. Like if I decide I like this, boom. All right, and so that's kind of got changed there. And maybe I want to lighten. I am going to make one. Well, why can't I change that? I'm trying to change that to white, and it's not wanting to do it. All right, well, I'll go with a light green or something. There's too much orange in this for me right now, so I don't want that much orange. I'm just trying to change it up so there's not that much orange. Okay, that's better. And so you can play with color, right? Come over here and play around with color all you want. Okay, now let's start adding some things. In this box right up here, the kind of light green one on the top left, I think I'm going to add some text. All right, so I'm going to go to the add button over here, and I'm going to click text, and it comes up here. Now, they have some kind of preset things that you could click on and then change what it says. Right, like make it happen. If I click that, and it's going to get added on there, it's coming boom like that. And I could move that around. If I don't want it down there, I can make it up, put it up here, and I could change what that says. And there's a little like ornament there, and I could change its color and all that kind of stuff. But that's not really what I want. So I'm just going to tap delete and get rid of it. I'm going to go back to add text, and like I said, you got all these preset things, but you can also just add your own. Right, like right here, this says add your text. Okay, so I'm going to click that. Here's what mine's going to say: let the goodies begin. Mine's going to be about things that I like to eat around Christmas time. You always eat so much like fun stuff around Christmas. So I'm going to say let the goodies begin. I'll click done there, and it gets kind of posted on there. Now I'm going to start playing with some things that are here for the text. Like I'm going to align it this way. I might leave it in that top right box. I think I'm kind of okay with that. You could play with the font. There's fonts here to switch it up if you want to. Size, right? You could play with the size of the font. If I can get that to cooperate with me here. Boom. Oh, that's too big. 132 is way too big. So let's take that down some. And you could type a number in there if you want. If you're not seeing a number you want, you can type a number that you think you want in there, and you can move it around. And now, and again, this thing that says shape. You see how it put these green boxes around this like kind of orangey, peachy colored text. I could click shape and I could change that. Look, oh, now it's got a big circle around it, but I don't like that. So I'm going to go back to these striped boxes. You've got choices here. You could play around with kind of all kinds of things. You can make it bigger and smaller. I'm going to go back to these boxes because I kind of like them. And you can play with the colors of those things. I've got colors right here I could play with. Golly, Ned, I could add a shadow. I could add an outline if I wanted to. Again, I could play with color. unless I'm feeling like, well, I'm kind of liking what I'm getting. That's the whole thing. Do you like what you're getting? I just made a change on that box color. I'm not sure I like that. I'm playing around with options here. Yeah, okay. All right. All right. No, I don't like that. No, and you can Control Z undo, or there's an undo arrow up here at the top as well. All right, so I'll click off of that, and that's starting to look, I'm kind of okay with that, I do believe. All right, so I've got some text on there, and that's one of the things that is required. I want you to get some text on there one way or another. Right, you go to that add button on the top right-hand side, and you add text and get some text on it. Okay, now for the rest of the way, and just to save a little time, I've already downloaded images. I went and hunted for images that I wanted, and I already have them saved. I already have them downloaded. Okay, so I'm going to click on like you can click on any section of your grid layout thing here. So I'm going to click on one, and I'm going to say choose image over here on the right hand side, and I'm just going to upload a photo. And here, see, I have them down. I have these things that I went out on the internet and I hunted for them, and I found what I wanted. All right, so if one of them is caramel corn. All right, so I'm going to open that, and you see what happens here. Give it a second. The caramel corn gets put into that section right there. Let's pick another section, and I'm going to go choose image, and I'm going to do upload photo. And there's other ways. I've got some Starbucks peppermint mochas right here, which I'm going to put in there, and you can scoot them around. See, I can grab those and scoot them around to get them centered up in there if I want to. And when I click on a box and I go to choose image, there's other ways you can do it. You don't have to upload. You can connect to your Google Drive. You can find free photos. That would maybe work too. You could click here where it says find free photos, and you can do a search, and it will come up with a bunch of photos for you that way. So there's a lot of ways that you could tackle this, right? I just happen to have my pictures saved, so I'm doing upload photo, and I have them saved here. I'm going to put in these York peppermint patties. These are all things that I like to eat around Christmas time. I'm going to size this one a little bit. It's not quite filling up the frame, so I'm going to use this sizing slider here to size that some, right? I'm going to do that, and I think that looks a little bit better. I like it better, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on this last box that I have, and I'll do choose image, and I'm going to upload, and let's see, what do I want to finish this off with? Maybe just the peppermint bark. Let's go with the peppermint bark. All right, are you noticing a little kind of mint theme here? And I'm going to size that up some, get real close to it, and maybe move it up a little bit. Yeah, I like peppermint bark. Okay, so that's that's kind of the layout of my collage. Let the goodies begin, and I got all these things that I just like to have around Christmas time. Now, so if you kind of click in an empty area and get everything like not selected, I'm going to go back to background. I want to show you a couple of options here. On the background, when you click on background, you've got this thing for border and cell. If I play with the border, you see what it's doing? It's kind of like beefing up the border around each image, sort of, right? And they're locked together right now. This little padlock thing means if I adjust the border, it also adjusts the size of the cell. So if I could unlock that if I wanted to, and I could play with the border a little bit more apart from the cell, and I could play with the cell apart from the border. So you can kind of do that however you want. You can lock it and slide it, and so it's leaving a gap in between the pictures now is what it's doing, and I kind of like the way that looks. I might take my text item here and size it down just a smidge to make it fit a little bit better. All right, cool. Here is another option I wanted to mention to you. If you click on a picture, you can come over here on the right hand side and play with some things like filters, which would include things like colorize and lighten and contrast and multiply. And I've got grayscale right now, which I don't really like for this because it's taking the color out of it, but I could play with colorize, lighten, multiply, all those kinds of things. And if I don't want it, I can uncheck it. There's also enhancements, which gets into things. There's these sliders here for contrast, brightness, saturation. You can play with those, or I could uncheck it. And there's also blur, which I don't know if you'd want to blur it or not because you can't see it as well when you blur it. So, but you could. You might blur something. So I'm going to uncheck that. I don't really want to blur it. What else? Okay, the other thing I wanted to show you here, if I click on an empty spot, it kind of clears the menu over here on the right-hand side. I'm going to go to Add Icon. And in the icon finder, I'm going to search for Christmas. And there's all kinds. There's a tons, and this is kind of like little clip arty, icon-y kinds of things. And there's a ton of them in here. There's a gazillion, right? So I kind of have one in mind. I found it earlier. I'm going to see if I locate it quickly enough here. It was a little Santa Claus-y. Yep, here it is. So I found one I like. I'm going to pull it out and just kind of drop it on here. Boom. Or maybe I won't pull it out. Maybe I'll just click on it, and then it gets added. Okay. So you see my Santa Claus, and it gets added in one of the colors of the color theme that I have going on. I could size it down, make it smaller, and I maybe have this Santa Claus sit like right there. And I could, it was right here where it says icon, I could change the colors of it. Here's my current palette. So if I'm thinking, maybe that light green, or oh, maybe that pinkish color, or oh, maybe back to that yellow, or whatever, boom. I don't know why it won't let me choose white. That's interesting. But there is also a color picker down here at the bottom. If I wanted to customize the color, I could certainly do that as well, right? So I can do whatever I want there. So there's another little option you have. You don't have to have a little decorative icon on it. I'm showing you stuff that you can do if you want to do. I'm going to get him in there kind of the way I want him, right? Nudge him down a little bit. So this is about it, right? I've put together a collage that I'm pretty happy with by using these menu options that are over on the side. And now it's time to think about naming it and saving it. Okay. Well, naming it happens up here on the top left where you see post, and there's this like SP button, projects, and right here, my post. It says my post. So I'm going to click there, and I'm going to change it to goodies. And I've done this before, so I'm going to call it goodies 3. All right, so that's going to be the name of it, goodies 3. Now, to get it turned in, you have to get it turned in, so that's part of it. But also, if you wanted a copy of it that you can keep and do something with, I would come over here to the top right-hand side where it says download. I'll click there. And really, any of these formats are going to work here. PNG, JPEG, PDF, they're all okay. For turning it in, they're all okay. And really, for printing them out, they're all okay as well. You could print it if you wanted to. So yeah, I'll just PNG is okay with me. I'll leave that there. But you could do a JPEG, you could do a PDF, and I'll say start download. Boom. It'll take a little bit of time to download, but not very long. If this is where if you are working here at school, this will download into your downloads folder. If you're working on your Chromebook, it will download onto your Google Drive. It'll be on your Google Drive, and it should have the name that you specified right up here on the top left. Mine would be called Goodies 3, and I think I downloaded a PNG. All right, so that's how mine would work. Now all I would have to do is go back and turn it in on the Wednesday assignment. I would just go there and get it turned in. All right, let's give it a shot.